Hello, I'm Dr. Greg Flores, the Pain and Brain Healing Center, here to talk to you about digestive disorders. We're going to look into a condition called SIBO. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't, but it is an underlying mechanism of numerous chronic digestive issues. SIBO stands for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Throughout the whole digestive tract, from the mouth to the anus, we are imbued with bacteria, the microbiome, good bacteria. And this bacteria can help defend against overgrowth of other bacteria, bad bacteria, Candida yeast, or whatever. Now, if we have an imbalance in the microbiome, if we have a decrease in the microbiome, or we have an overgrowth of unwanted species, this can take place anywhere along the digestive tract, but in SIBO, it's happening in the upper small bowel. So we're looking in and around right after the stomach in that first few feet of the jejunum in the small intestine. Now, that bacterial overgrowth will literally munch on your lunch and produce gases that are released from their fermentation of these of any carbohydrates or sugars or glucose. So what that does is create a fullness or bloating or belching or reflux. If there's enough gases produced, it can push back and you can get this reflux. Now, an underlying issue also is that the bacteria will produce different types of gases. If it's hydrogen, that's going to stimulate the bowel, and you're going to end up with loose stools, diarrhea, because the peristalsis is going to move through fast, moving the matter through, and you're going to get loose stools. If this bacteria is then going to change and utilize the hydrogen and turn it into a different species, will turn it into methane. Now, methane paralyzes the bowel. It causes constipation. The peristalsis slows down. What if you have a combination of hydrogen and methane producing? Well, they can go into diarrhea in times of constipation. But it is the underlying mechanism of 89% in some studies of irritable bowel. And we all have heard of irritable bowel syndrome. IBS is just ubiquitous throughout our environment, throughout our whole society. Irritable bowel had an unknown cause. Well, now SIBO has been shown to be an underlying cause of irritable bowel. You fix the SIBO, you fix irritable bowel. You fix the SIBO, you fix the reflux, you fix the bloating, you fix the malabsorption, maldigestion of the gut. So then the question is, like, why are we developing SIBO? Why are we seeing it so much? Well, first of all, antibiotic therapies, killing off the good bacteria, allowing other bacteria to grow is huge. SIBO can come from an overabundance of feeding, an overabundance of this bacteria from too many carbs. We're feeding this carbohydrate load, this sugar load, and we just start growing bacterial growth. And we can even grow fungus. That's SIFO, small intestinal fungal overgrowth, and like Candida and other forms of fungus. So we will have to get rid of these. And another cause, a very underdiagnosed cause of SIBO and SIFO, is a loss of good peristalsis. That's that muscular contraction that moves matter through in a timely manner, and the migrating motor complex. That is the villi on the walls of the intestines. Actually, under electron microscope, you can see them sweep away matter. When you're fasting in between meals, it is literally moving away and down and flushing down all the matter. If we're not moving the matter out, we're not sweeping that whole surface clean, it can then ferment, produce bacterial overgrowth. So neurological aspects of SIBO is very underappreciated. The brainstem has the vagus nerve firing down into the gut, controlling this peristalsis and this whole undulation of this migrating motor complex. You can have poor firing from the brain down to the gut. You can have an overabundance of growth because you keep feeding them sugar and carbohydrates. Whatever it is, one of the telltale signs is bloating, fullness, loose stools, diarrhea, constipation, reflux. We have issues with all the digestive issues that we see today that people are taking all kinds of over-the-counter pills for. You need to get to the cause. history is a good way to diagnose this, but also the gold standard is called a small intestinal breath test, a breath analysis of the gases that are being expelled from the fermentation process. You drink a solution of carbs, then you measure the amount over the next 3 hours of gases released. We can treat this naturally with an approach with diet and nutritional support with antimicrobials. We can get to the underlying cause. Acupuncture works wonders for trying to improve peristalsis and the whole migrating motor complex. So if you're having digestive disorders that you couldn't figure out where they're coming from, bloating, belching, burping, fullness, diarrhea, constipation, reflux, give us a call, 763-862-7100. Call and ask for a free consultation. We'll sit down and talk about it. But this is a disorder. This is something that you can fix and improve your digestion. Another thing it leads to is something called leaky gut, which is my next video. And many have heard of leaky gut. An underlying mechanism of producing leaky gut many times is this SIBO. So tune that video in and look into that. I hope to see you here at the clinic. Give us a call. Thank you very much for your attention and time.